Hey y'all, and welcome to Monner's Market, and welcome to my Patriotic DIYs video. Today's video is part of my OG group that we do on the 20th of every month at 3 p.m. And it's our 4th of July DIYs, and I am going to jump right into DIY number 1. Look at these adorable little poles. I don't know what else to call them because I don't know what they're called, but it's literally a 4x4. No, I mean a 3x3. And I cut it down. I don't remember if I cut this down or if I had Home Depot cut it down. Just in these 3 varying sizes, right? So the first one I'm going to go in with this plaster by Waverly. And I'm going to cover the whole thing. Now I know that the colors are red, white, and blue, but you know I love a farmhouse rustic theme. And the ivory is just a little bit more off-colored than white. So I'm going to take my tape and I am going to go straight down the middle because I want a line straight down the middle, right? And then I'm going to take other pieces of tape and put it right beside it. Well, when I did it on the first side, I realized that I only needed to put down 3 pieces of tape, the one in the middle and the 2 beside it, and then remove the middle, and voila, that's all I needed to do to get my lines perfect for when I go to paint. So I did that all around on all 4 sides, and I got it ready to go in with my red paint or my crimson paint by Waverly, which is absolutely beautiful. Now what I'm doing now is taking some heat and going over so that I can make it stick better to have less runs. And one of my amazing viewers told me last week that if I take my original color and paint over before I go in and add the color that I want to add before I take my tape off, that it would cause no bleeds. And I'm telling you, she was right. And I would give anything to be able to find that comment. I looked and looked and looked. So whoever it was, you know who you are. Thank you. If you will leave me a comment down in the bottom, I will thank you by name. And I'm so sorry I couldn't find that post. So what you saw me do was take a little bit of antique wax and add it to my crimson, because red is beautiful and the crimson is gorgeous, but it's a little bit too bright red for a farmhousey feel. So by taking a little bit of that antique wax and adding to it, or any sort of darker brown color, you tone it and you mute it down a little bit, and then you get more of a rustic farmhouse red than you do like a bright cherry red. So now I'm just going to peel back my tape, and I want to leave my tape in place on the sides because I don't want to mess up the lines that I'm creating. So I'm just going to barely peel it back right to the edge, and then I'm going to take my paintbrush and just give it a rough coat. As you can see, I've just been sort of giving it a sort of heavy rustic distressed paint job, and that's because I want some of that original wood showing through, and I want some of the other colors showing through. So I'm not real worried about having a perfect paint job, because you know, when you get into rustic and farmhouse, nothing's perfect, and the more imperfect it is, the better. And I want you to look at how beautiful my lines are, thanks to my viewer for that wonderful, amazing tip. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? So now I'm going to go in. Y'all, have you seen Ocean by Waverly? Like, I've seen it before, but I've never really paid attention to it until now. It is the most perfect rustic farmhouse blue. It's more like a colonial blue, but they're calling it Ocean, and I don't care what they call it. I call it beautiful. It has the most beautiful blue color ever. So I'm just going to give this sort of a heavy distressed coat. And now I'm going in with a transfer from Chalk Couture. This is America the Beautiful or something like that. I will have it listed in the description box below. But what I'm going to use is my little stars. And they were absolutely perfect for this middle piece. I mean, I could not have picked a more perfect piece to put on this for my stars. Like it's almost like the transfer was made for this particular post right here. So I'm going to go in with my white chalk paste, and I'm using one of Chalk Couture's paintbrushes. Yes, you can use any paintbrush to chalk with, but I went ahead and used my Chalk Couture paintbrush because that's what it's made for. It picks up the paste perfectly, and I want you to look at how beautifully it's laying that paste down. It's just absolutely meant for this, and I love it. And watch when I peel it back. Y'all, it's perfect every stinking time. You know, when I was growing up, I would hear people say, you get what you pay for, you get what you pay for. And I never understood it until I got a little older and started crafting. And it was like, the better quality products you use, the better quality product you're going to end up with in the end. And that saying is so, so true. Look, that's another thing too. You literally never, ever get tired of peeling that beautiful transfer back to see the most gorgeous. I don't care what kind of picture you're putting on something. Look at that. It's just perfect. I can't get over it. Anyway, let me move on to my last shorter one. Now I am going to go in with my white. And if you notice, the white is not that far off from the ivory. Now, when I picked up this white, it was pure accident. I did not mean to pick up the white. However, if you see everything together in the end, it's not going to matter. Now, this is some gorgeous lace that I found. It's metal lace that I found at the Dollar Tree last year. And I knew I wanted it on here somewhere. So I thought I was going to put it in the middle. Then I thought I was going to put it at the top. And it looked best when I put it at the bottom. And it just added just a little bit of something like texture and character, or whatever you want to call it, depth and dimension, some would say. And I just absolutely love the little touch that it gave to my poles. And to me, it just looks gorgeous. A little bit of, I wouldn't say bling because it's not blingy, but a little bit of bougie. Let's add a little bit of bougie to my little poles here. Now, I am terribly off-centered in a few things on this video because I had several little kids over for a sleepover, and we were all talking and laughing and playing while I was filming, and I was paying more attention to them than I was to what I was doing. So hopefully you get the drift of what I'm doing here and you can follow me. I'm simply just taking a small line of hot glue and going around the bottom of each piece. Now, these little flowers right here, I got at the Dollar Tree very, very recently. They are very new. And I am going to just add a little bit of twine around the middle of each pole. And where I am gluing all of the twine together is where I'm going to place my flower. And that's because I'm covering up like the mess, basically, that you make when you tape it all together, or glue it all together, should I say. Now, I'm going to try to add this little thing to the top, and I really did not like the way it looked, so I skipped that and took it off. My thought process behind that was to put something on the top to make it look like a fuse for a firecracker. Like, that was kind of what I wanted to do from the beginning. But when I put it up there, it made it look more like a pumpkin, you know, like you do in the fall when you add that little stem to make it look like a pumpkin. It looked more like a pumpkin than it did the stem to, or the wick, or whatever you call that piece of thing that you light for a firecracker. So I just skipped it, left it off, and stuck with just the twine and the little burlap flowers, which I think are absolutely adorable. I found them recently at the Dollar Tree, and I know I've seen them before, but they finally came back. And then that was it. That was all there was to putting together these little, originally, like I said, I wanted to make them firecrackers, but now they just turned into poles, basically. So I'm going to call them poles when I really wanted to call them firecrackers. But look how cute they turned out, y'all. No matter what we end up calling them, I call them absolutely adorable. And they are still my rustic farmhousey theme, and they still match my stuff. So let's get into DIY number 2. This one's going to be super quick and easy. And it's been quite a while since I made a little beaded garland. But the last red, white, and blue DIY garland that I done was from like 2 years ago. And y'all, it was kind of pitiful. So I thought I would go in and do it again. My original thought for this one was to do simply red, white, and blue using the same colors, the ocean, the crimson, and I don't remember if I used white or ivory, but we'll see here in just a minute. Oh, you know what? I didn't because I already had some little white beads that I had ordered a while back from, I want to say Amazon. I will find the link to the beads and leave them in the description box. Even these raw beads here, they're 20 millimeter beads. Y'all, you knew I could not make it through a daggum video without getting tongue-tied. There you go. I hate it. I try so hard. But, you know, being ADHD, sometimes your tongue gets faster than your brain, and they just lose track of each other. Ivory, okay. I used ivory to just distress it down very lightly because I just didn't want that super red and that super blue stark colors. And then I was going to do some white. And then I got to looking at it and I was like, So I was going to put some other beads on there that were natural, but it was too light. Once I started stringing them together, I just did not like the fact that they didn't have any color to them at all. And I went ahead and took them back off and used some antique wax to darken them up with. And then once I done that, I was absolutely in love with the way this was coming together. Now, I wish I had some little bit bigger beads to make this with, because I would have used fatter beads on some of them. However, they have not come yet. I ordered some recently, have not gotten them in the mail yet. But if you have a good imagination, picture those brown beads right there being fatter than the rest. I think that would have turned out so pretty. But either way, I just ended up taking these here and stringing them, and then just made a tassel to go on the end of each, you know, like 2 tassels to go one on each end. And when I made my tassel, I used this little hand sander from the Dollar Tree, and that was actually perfect to make the size that I needed to go on the end of these tassels. Now, I know I'm going really fast on these tassels, but I've done so many. I've got so many like tutorials on how to make a tassel. But if you don't know how to make a tassel and you would like to see a slower version, leave me a comment in the comment box, and I will either link you some where I go a lot slower, or I will simply talk you through how to do it. But they're very easy to do. They're very easy to do. And the more you do them, the easier it gets. But look at how pretty my beaded garland came out. And I really, really believe that those dark brown beads set it off. Like, I love the dark brown bead. Actually, I think what the dark brown beads did was farmhouse and rustic it up. No, it farmhoused it up and made it a little more rustic. I was trying to throw a weird word in there, but it didn't work together. But look, I mean, I love it. I think it's adorable. Now let's get into my last DIY. This was just something that I've been wanting to do for the last couple of years, and why I haven't done it yet, I don't know, because this is the easiest thing I do believe I've ever done in my life. I'm just taking these little clay pots from the Dollar Tree, and I am going to go in with the same colors that we've been using all day now. And I'm going to paint this one red. Again, I am not covering everything. I'm giving it a distress coat because I want that clay to pop through those colors and still show. I don't want to completely cover it up. I want it to be rustic. I've said that word how many times in this video already? Because that's just my theme. Like, that's just what I love. That's where my heart is. And I love something that's just not perfect. Maybe because I'm so screwed up and not perfect. Who knows? is. Who knows? I don't know. But I just love a rustic thing. And, you know, when you get into the farmhouse and the shabby chic French country, which, you know, I know this isn't shabby chic French country, but when you get into that sort of vibe, it's all like so imperfect, right? And nothing matches. Nothing. That's like, what is that lady's name? I can't remember, but it's the little black and white checkerboards. I know there's a word for it. I know it's a Harlequin print maybe. But anyway, if you look at that work, it is the sloppiest work. But it is so beautiful and is one of the most popular things as far as decorating. Man, why can't I remember her name? Anyway, I know y'all will tell me down in the comment section what her name is. But if you look at the actual squares, they're so imperfect and so beautiful. And I just love it like that. So with my little pot here, or my big pot actually, it's the biggest of the three, I'm just going to do the red and white stripes like I did on my first big firecracker pole, and make it to where when I pull my tape off, it is sort of symbolizing the red and white stripes on a flag. Now this, using this little dauber to make little circles was so much easier than trying to put a whole bunch of little stars, because I cannot even draw a stick man, y'all. I am not an artist when it comes to drawing anything. And I thought, you know what, I'll just throw some little circles on there, some polka dots with this little, and it turned out perfect. Perfect. This is another piece to that same transfer that I used earlier, and it just has a big star in the middle and two smaller stars on each side, which I thought was perfect for this little thing. And I'm just going to do red in the middle and blue on either side, and then that'll finish it off. And I thought they just turned out so stinking cute. But I am using regular paint on here, okay? I'm not using paste. But like I said earlier, you can use regular paint. But look at how cute these turned out. Now I'm going to show you a couple of ways to style these. What do you think about my little tray, y'all? Look at that little riser. I made that a few videos back, and I will actually place that in the description box just in case you haven't seen it and you want to see how I made that. But look how precious these turned out. Are they not so cute? Look at the little red, white, and blue on that one, and then the little polka dots on that one, and then the stripes in the middle. I love it. Now, I have styled this two different ways to show you this way and then this way, just to sort of bring it down where you could kind of see them all together. But I love the way they turned out. I love the way a little bit of clay is peeking through, and it's a little bit shabby, a little bit chic, a little bit rustic. I love it. Look at how pretty those are. So anyway, I cannot wait to hear what you think about my video today, my 4th of July Patriotic DIYs. I want to thank Krista over at Krista's Crafty Life for always inviting me to be a part of her playlist every month. Look at my final reveal. I'm going to show you everything all together. Look at how pretty this stuff looks together, y'all. I am so in love with the way this little set turned out. I'm such a brown, white, muted kind of person, you know, like that's really the colors that I like, is just real rustic and farmhouse, that when you start putting color in my stuff, it kind of throws me off. But I really like this. I love what it represents. I love that it represents our freedom. I'm sorry, guys, my phone rang and it cut off my voiceover. I love that it represents our military and all of the things that they fought for so that we could live in the United States of America and be free. So I really kind of wanted to pay homage. We come from a huge military family, and my grandson Daniel, as you know, is in the Army, and I have so many nieces and nephews and cousins and in-laws, and oh gosh, just everybody. We could, like I said, it's huge. Literally every time you turn around, there's somebody else that's going in the military in our family. My little nephew Mikey just went into the Navy about a week ago, so we're already missing him at boot camp. And I just love that these colors represent freedom, and that freedom is represented by our military and my loved ones, specifically my dad, my brother. I could go on and on naming the people in our family that were in the military. But I had to add this to my box that I made last week and show you what it all looks like together. I just love the way it looks in this box. Let me know if you like it better out of the box or if you like it better in the box. I love anything that showcases this box. Or actually, I had a lady say, that is not a box, that is a tray. So box, tray, riser, whatever you want to call it, I call it beautiful. I love it. I'm so proud of the way this turned out. But it actually is a riser, a tray, or whatever. But I love the way it turned out. But anyway, again, thank you, Christy, over at Krista's Craft. Krista, I'm so sorry. I have so many friends that craft. And there's Christy and Krista and Christine. And it's easy to get them mixed up. Anyway, this is Krista over at Krista's Crafty Life that started this group way back when we all first started crafting together about 2 years ago. We do this the 20th of every month. And this month it just happened to fall on a Tuesday, which you guys know every Tuesday I have a video at 8 p.m. But we always do our review or our premiere at 3 p.m. on the 20th. So that's why I'm doing this way earlier today. So anyway, normally I am 8 p.m. every Tuesday, Eastern Standard Time. Come and join us in the live chat. We love chit-chatting and talking and gossiping in the live chat. We've had some newer people coming in, and I absolutely love it. So be sure to join me next Tuesday at 8 p.m. But for now, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Be blessed. Bye now.